Thank you so much for waiting. I hope the wait wasn't too long for you. Let's keep our voices down. If it's okay with you, I would like to whisper today. Okay? It's because there's students here, they stay here until midnight. And they take around this time at night to take an hour-long nap and then they get back to their study. I don't want to disturb their sleep, so let's just keep it a little bit low and whisper if that's fine. Thank you so much for understanding. If you don't mind me asking, you're here to the Pokemon Academy. What would you like to know? Oh, you're a new adventurer. So it seems like you were here from Professor Owen's laboratory in Sandsham Town. Okay, very good. Yeah, I can answer any question. People call me Pokemon teacher, some call me doctor, some call me professor. I personally like to refer to myself as a Pokemon teacher. And the name I go by usually is Mr. Vigor. So, I'm Mr. Vigor. Very nice to meet you. And you are... Well, what a wonderful name. Very great. Well, you need guys like me so that we can help new adventurers like yourself go on the correct path and not get lost. For example, something like this here. You can think of this as many different things. Maybe a Pokeball, maybe a Voltorb, or maybe a, electrode. But in reality, it's just a picture of Jigglypuff from top-down view. Okay? That's why you need people like me to explain the inner workings of how Pokemon battles and how Pokemon works. You would have definitely guessed it as something incorrect had I not told you this was a Jigglypuff. But with that being said, what would you like to ask me? Oh, so you would like to know more about, your team and how you should make your own Pokemon team. Okay, I can certainly do that. Can I see your Pokemon right now? Turtwig and Starly, okay. Alright, let me construct this simulation real quickly. Okay. Okay, I have the simulation here ready to go, so let's take a look at the screen now, okay? Alright. Okay, so I have your simulation all ready to go. I created the charts really quickly. We have a really great software that does that, so it's not that hard. Seems like from your Pokemon team you have a Turtwig and a Starly, right? Okay, you're off to a very good start, I would say. Turtwig, as you would know, is grass type. Starly is a flying and normal type. Do you know what types are in Pokemon? Good. I'll give a quick introduction just in case. So, types refers to each Pokemon has its own type. So, you have grass, you have flying and normal, and each type is either great against another, or it's not that great, it's bad against it, or it's just, whatever, normal. So, what you would like to do is you would like to have Pokemon that carry all the different types. But you can only have 6 Pokemon at one time, so it's a little bit of a dilemma. So you have to be very smart. Right now, you have a Turtwig which is grass type. He's really great against water type, rock type, ground type. Since he's really good against these Pokemon, you can say that these are the 3 types that this Turtwig is gonna cover in battles for you. Let's look at the Starly now. Starly is flying and normal. So Starly is really great against fighting type Pokemon, bug type Pokemon, grass type Pokemon. Very good. So it seems like these 2 Pokemon cover 6 different types that they're great against. Now a question comes up is, what are they bad against? That's a great question to ask. Here I have Turtwig again. Turtwig is really bad against bug type. ice type, poison type. And then similarly, Starly is bad against ice type, rock type, electric type. These are all the different types that your Pokemon are weak against. One thing that you'll notice is they're both weak against ice. So he's weak against ice. He's also weak against ice. If you get to face a Pokemon that is ice type, you're gonna have a really hard time defeating that Pokemon. So for that reason, it's really important that the other 4 Pokemon that you select cover for your weaknesses. One thing I'll tell you is, you definitely want to have a Dragon type on your team. If you can get a Dragon type, that would be ideal. It's because Dragon type is only weak against Dragon, and it's also weak against Fairy types, but there's not that many Fairy types in our region, Sinnoh region. So you should be fine. The only thing that can be effective against Dragon is Dragon itself. So it's a really strong type to have, and actually, based on the research we've done into the legendary Pokemon, the findings that came out, I read the papers in Kennel Library, Palkia, Dialga, and there's rumors to be a 3rd Pokemon. All 3 of those Pokemon are rumored to have part Dragon type. So you can tell how strong Dragon type Pokemon would be. Yeah, the guy who found out about this was Professor Manuka. I think he works with Rowan now, so... Oh, you've met him. Okay. He gave you your Pokeball. That guy always, when you select a Turtwig, he'll always tell you it's not a popular choice, and that can put a little bit of doubt in your heart if you made the right choice or not, but trust me, he always says that, but he forgets to tell you how strong Torterra is. It's just not a popular choice, but that doesn't mean it's a bad Pokemon. It's a very great Pokemon to have. But he always skips that part and only says that it's not a popular choice. So that's just part of his habit. But what I would recommend to you is you catch a Fire-type Pokemon as soon as you can. Fire-type is going to make sure that you can take out any Ice-type Pokemon. That seems to be a common weakness for these 2 Pokemon. Now, unfortunately, in our Sinnoh region, we don't have that many great Fire-type options. So, Chimchar, you didn't get a Chimchar. So your other option can be a Bonita, so you can get a Rapidash, maybe. Other than that, I can't even think of another Pokemon that you can get here that is a great Fire type that you can have. Maybe if you're lucky, you can find someone from the other regions and, maybe get a Camerupt. Maybe you can get a, who knows, like Slugma, maybe. So that's something for you to see and see which Pokemon you feel more comfortable with a Fire type, but I would highly recommend that. So this is why it's so important to have a great, depth of different types in your Pokemon. But one more thing that's really important to have is to have your Pokemon have different movesets as well. And what do I mean by that? Well, let me try and explain to you. See, what I have right here is Torterra. So one great thing about Turtwig is that when it evolves, it becomes ground type as well. So you have a grass type and a ground type, and that's wonderful because that gives you more coverage and you don't have to look for a ground type specifically. Now my question to you is very simple. Do you plan on evolving your Turtwig? Yes? Great. I've met trainers that don't want to evolve their Pokemon, and usually if you are hesitant to evolve your Pokemon, I don't know how, but the Pokemon are very smart. They catch on to the fact that you don't want them to evolve, so they don't evolve. They stop their evolution midway, so it's great you want to evolve your Turtwig. No judgments here. So this guy is gonna be part ground type, part grass. Now I'm gonna give you two different movesets that this Pokemon can have. One of them being these four: Wood Hammer, Razor Leaf, Giga Drain, Lead Seed. Now, noticed the common trend in all these moves is that they're all grass type. Of course, Foot Hammer is a great move. Of course, Lead Seed is a great move. Razor Leaf is a great move. Giga Drain is awesome. You can use Foot Hammer and then use Giga Drain to heal back up. That's all wonderful. But imagine you're fighting a gym that's fire type. And although you don't want to be in that position, sometimes, Pokemon battles are so volatile, anything can happen. But if you end up facing a gym leader who has a fire type, you're stuck. If you have this moveset, you're stuck. What would be better if you have more depth in your coverage of Pokemon moves as well? Let's look at this one right here. You have Foot Hammer, you have Giga Drain, you have Earthquake, you have Crunch. Now, if you're facing a water type Pokemon, you would use Foot Hammer and Giga Drain. That's perfect. Suppose you face a fire type, for example, something like Infernape. You can just use Earthquake because ground type is super effective against fire type, so that would be a great alternative and gives you some playability. You can play around this idea a little bit. If you go with the first one, you're just completely screwed. There's no option for you to try and get that W. Win, of course. Another thing you can also do is give it even more, different breadth of types. Another thing you can teach it is Crunch. Crunch is a dark type move, which is super good. And at the same time, it's going to give you even more options to deal with different Pokemon. Now, of course, having a dark type move is not going to be super effective against a type that would be super effective against Torterra. But it gives you more playability. You have more space to maneuver and strategize. And that's what you would like to do. You would like to have not only, strong moves, but also a wide variety of strong moves of different types. So that's what I would recommend to you as a trainer who's starting out. Please make sure to not only concentrate on the type your Pokemon is, but try to add a little bit more depth to the moves your Pokemons learn. For example, something like Infernape. Infernape can learn Grass Knot, which is a grass type move. Surprisingly, Infernape can learn it. If you teach Grass Knot to your Pokemon and you're up against a water type, you can just use Grass Knot and that should take care of it. Similarly, Thunder Punch. Infernape can learn Thunder Punch as well, and that's a great way of dealing with water types and flying types as well. In case you face a flying type, that's also super effective against an Infernape who's part fighting. Just use a Thunder Punch so you have some playability, and that's my point. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? Wonderful. It seems you are a great listener. It seems like everything I'm saying is getting across to you very nicely. That makes me very happy. Okay, so I've explained to you how to structure your team and how to structure your movesets of Pokemon. Is there something else you would like to ask me? I had a feeling you were going to ask me that, and as much as I would like to help you, I just can't answer that question because it's against the rules for me to help trainers. But I can give you a little bit of tip, and don't tell anyone I gave you this tip, okay? The first gym is a rock type gym. If you are smart, you can figure out what you have to do by just looking at this graph one more time. And even if you're not able to make that connection, I will help you out. I'm not gonna say anything more than that. I think you should be able to make that connection of what I'm trying to say here. Look, Turtwig is a great choice to start with, and you'll find as you go along in your journey that Turtwig is actually a very good starter Pokemon for the first few gyms. I'm trying to be ambiguous and not give you direct advice, but you'll notice that it's a great Pokemon to start with. Of course, a lot of people prefer the fire type Chimchar, but ask yourself, Chimchar is a fire type. Fire type, right? Fire type is not great against rock types. So, unless you manage to evolve your Chimchar before you get to the first gym, and your Chimchar turns into Monferno and can use some fighting type moves, you really don't have any chance of beating that gym. And let's be honest, who's gonna be able to evolve their Chimchar into Monferno before the first gym? This isn't a video game, right? So, I don't think it's very possible. Trainers, when they start off, are very naive. I don't think they're gonna be able to evolve their Chimchar into Monferno. So, your best bet is usually to go with a Piplup or a Turtwig. So, I think you'll be okay. I believe in your abilities. The first gym is in Oreburg City, so if you leave Jubilife City, go east. If you keep going east, you'll have to go through a cave, and at the end of that cave, you'll be at Oreburg City. They do a lot of interesting stuff like old Pokemon artifacts as well, so it might be interesting. You might get to see some old Pokemon fossils as well, so keep a lookout for that. But is there anything else you'd like to ask me? Oh no, thank you so much. I always love when trainers come in, they start off their journey and then they are just walking around, asking questions from people. This is the best part of your Pokemon journey. Always that possibility for you to learn something new, and it seems like you're fully taking advantage of it, and that's wonderful. Yeah. So you mentioned that Professor Manuka is the guy who gave you your first Pokemon, right? Yeah, Manuka is an interesting guy. I'm surprised he was the one who gave you your first Pokemon. Usually it's Rowan who does it. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Rowan personally. I don't think he's in Jubilife City. I don't know what he's doing, but you'll find him along your journey sooner or later. I'm sure of that. But Manuka is a great guy, and a lot of people call me the Pokemon Professor, but he's the real one. He's the real Pokemon Professor. I'm just a sign of respect. The students used to call me Professor, but I'm just a teacher. But is that all? I was going on a little bit of a yapping session there, but I hope you feel much better equipped with the Pokemon knowledge, and at the same time you feel much better equipped with fighting the first gym as well. Wonderful. Thank you for cooperating with me by whispering. I didn't want to wake up the students, and at the same time, thank you so